We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction, this day of your time. I am Adronis from Sirius, and we shall bring forward insight pertaining to what we have been shared to provide through the conduit in this way, representing the idea of tomorrow's spiritual education today. Collectively, you have monumentally transformed yourself into the degrees where the idea of what you would know as spirituality, the idea of what you would know as consciousness, the idea of what you would know as metaphysics, what any other particular categories you wish to assign within the parentheses of these understandings, is at an all-time high upon your planet. There is a collective understanding that many of you, in regards to the trends, are understanding the power of positive energy, the power of positive thinking, the power of the now moment, the realization that you are more than the physical body, that everything in regards to attraction occurs for a particular reason of certain magnetic properties through yourselves. And now, your planet has now reached the point where this information can be brought forward into the mainstream. Now, we're not just talking about your media, we're not just talking about your social media, we're not just talking about, shall we say, large group gatherings. We are literally stating that this information now has the capability to be mainstream within your educational factors. What we mean by that is that through much of the teachings of your young children, through much of the teachings of your teenagers or young adults moving more into post-secondary institutions, that you are within the pioneer state, shall we say, to allowing the spiritual education to be a common factor, just as common as your science, just as common as your mathematics, your literature, etc. That many of you right now are looking to create the opportunity to bring forward tomorrow's spiritual education today. Literally, from what you see, if everything that you have achieved through your own nature of consciousness development, through your own spiritual growth, now has the capability for more of a state of acceptance through many of your common educational institutions. Again, your elementary, your junior high, your high schools, your post-secondary institutions. Now, we understand that many of you, in that sense, have decided to create alternative schoolings pertaining to such forms of understandings, of teachings, of growth in this way. And while at the time it is very much appreciated, it is no longer needed in that way. We are basically tuning in, tapping in to the collective consciousness of your planet, and you are ready to implement this into the mainstream. Now is the time. Let us give you a nice little example of tomorrow's education from what you can experience today, here and now. Throughout this particular implementation of education, your child comes home from school, and your child says to both you and your husband or your wife, "Mom, Dad, I had the most amazing time at school today. We were able to look more into the power of crystals. We were able to go outside and learn more about how nature can communicate with us. We were able to sit down with the plants, sit down with the trees, and we were all told to just let ourselves feel what is around us. And we all felt something divine. We all felt something really, really incredible. I can't wait to go back to school tomorrow." Imagine this. Imagine this integrative effect of what your common educational institutions are now bringing forward. Imagine channelings like this, not just from ourselves, but from many others who channel in different ways, being a part of your educational systems. It would be very exciting for many of you, we would feel. That being able to learn, to understand the nature of many of these common practices within your spiritual circles, such as tarot, such as astrology, such as other particular forms of ancient methods, in regards to understanding their functioning as tools to many of you. This would be quite astounding. And here's the thing. Many institutions across your planet are now open to such ideas. Now, there still will be the common bit of institutions here or there that may still feel that, well, this really doesn't have a scientific, logical purpose behind it, and so we're not looking to implement this into our practicums through our institutions. That is understandable. There will still be certain institutions like that. But again, as you are all pioneers, you're bringing this more into the mainstream. You're bringing this together one step at a time. The key here is to find commonality amongst you, who will be able to work together as groups, as power nodes, to allow these educational factors to transform. Because now is the time. You are moving into the year of 2014. You are moving into this year of unfoldment. Part of the year of unfoldment is unfolding a whole new paradigm relating to your educational systems. That your science, that your mathematics, that your literature, and that your spirituality are contained. That's the idea. And you all have the ability to bring this forward, but you must come together. It is not up to one of you, it is not up only to a few of you, it is up to many of you who really want to say, this is what I want my child to learn. That I really had to come up a hard way. I had to come up a very challenging way. I had to look at alternatives. I really had to be a lone wolf pertaining to my spiritual education. I don't want my daughter to be a lone wolf. I don't want my son to be a lone wolf. I don't want my grandchildren to be lone wolves. Now I'm going to give the opportunity to work together collectively to bring a spiritual education towards these institutions, because many now are accepting it, and there is a science behind it. But it's simply the idea of understanding that through these sciences, it is not the entire totality of the spiritual makeup. It can be, in that sense, brought forward through spiritual scrutinizing. But again, it is truly the essence that stands out. So, what we would suggest to all of you who know that this spiritual education is looking to come forward is to make it happen. It is not going to come forward by itself. It requires a collective momentum shift. It requires all of you to take this from the ethers and to bring it down into the patternization of physicality so that your children can understand the nature of who they are. Self-empowerment classes, nature classes, psychic classes, channeling classes, tarot classes, astrology classes, numerology classes, ancient mysteries, schooling classes. These all have the ability now to come together in certain popular mainstream institutions on your planet. This is where you are. This is how powerful the energy is. And so this is what we want to share with all of you. If you want this spiritual education in the mainstream, now is the time to blaze the trail, dearest humans. It's your planet. It's your world. It's your decision to do so. We are always here to provide assistance. We are always here to provide these forms of insight from when we are willing to tell you, all right, now it is red hot, shall we say, for you to begin implementing this. And it is red hot So look into forming groups, forming these power nodes, to bringing forward this information, to bringing forward this insight of spiritual nature to make tomorrow's educational future today, here and now, through coming together. I am Adronis from Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all of you. Thank you very much. Farewell for this timing, and we now return to the conduit. Goodbye for now, and we will see you again in the moment. Thank you.